when you vote in November, and I hope you do vote in November, there will be a question on the ballot about whether the population wants to allow optometry services and all of that includes within big box stores or not. And the person who can probably speak best to this is somebody that has provided services to Northwest Oklahoma and beyond for over 30 years, and that is our own Dr. Troy Smith. So I would like for you to give him a warm welcome.
I will hand around. This is the language that's on the ballot, which is not the entire law, but the language that's on the ballot. And I kind of wanted to first address the way it was addressed in the newsletter on question 793, saying that a yes vote supports the ballot initiative to provide optometrists and opticians with a constitutional right to practice within a retail establishment that sells merchandise to the public. So what sounds wrong with that? Sounds like that all of us optometrists would be for it. A no vote opposes the ballot initiative to provide optometrists and opticians with a constitutional right to practice within a retail establishment that sells merchandise to the public. So just on the sounds of it, you would think everybody in the optical industry should be in favor of this. The fact is, that's the way they sold it at the teachers' strike, walkout, whatever, down at the Capitol, and got a whole lot of teachers to sign the petition that all optometrists were for it, and it was going to free us up to practice like we would like to practice.
It was
that's what they sold it.
Signed up petition. It didn't come out of the legislature. Is that?
No, this petition initiative is not from a groundswell of need from the people or from the legislature. This is strictly a Walmart initiated thing. Strictly. The major contributors to the yes for 793 are Walmart and Costco, and then there's a couple other lesser organizations that have actually contributed to the campaign. In reality, when you look up 793 and you look up those for and those against, and of course on yes on 793, it says that it's the right thing to do for families and children. Oklahomans should have more options when it comes to vision needs of their families. Voting yes would give more school-age children access to affordable eye care. Still, again, that sounds like, why wouldn't anybody vote against it? We deserve the same choice as other Americans, because it talks about Oklahoma's laws. We're one of only 3 states left that basically have laws that control optical sales of goods and services. So I guess we're supposed to join the rest just to catch up. It says the new law will create jobs by the thousands. Trying to figure out where that comes from, but it says that Oklahomans go to other states to buy eyeglasses, and that's not true at all. But I mean, and I have patients from Kansas. The fact is, I wouldn't survive if I didn't have my Kansas patients, to be honest. And it's time for Oklahoma to be stopped the last at everything. That's their. Now, you get down to more statements from the pro side, and it says the current laws and regulations prohibit. And one of the things it says is licensed optometrists from practicing near an optical retailer. That's not true. It just needs to be separate entrances, separate buildings, that sort of thing, if the optical is not a part of the optometrist's practice, like it is in our office, that we have an optical area as well as exam rooms. So I don't know why they're saying that the law prohibits that, other than you can't just walk through the Walmart and pass the eyeglasses. You have to get, they still will be required to have a separate room for the exam, so you won't be sitting out in the middle of the store for the exam. So I do have to give them that. But the other thing that they're saying that our current laws prohibit is really the main thing that Walmart doesn't like about Oklahoma's law. And that's their ability to purchase their market share with their billions of dollars and not earn it. And the statement here says that current law prohibits retailers from selling prescription eyewear and ophthalmic material unless it comprises 51% of their income. So if you're an optical, you have to make 51% of your money from the sale of those optical goods. So if you put it in the middle of the store and it's not separated from the rest of the store is included, and Walmart doesn't like that because they can't give something away in the optical to bring people in and make up for it selling lawnmowers on the other side of the store. And a good example of that is what happened when Walmart first put an optical in Emporia, Kansas. There were 7 optometry practices, and I'm not sure how many doctors that included. I mean, I think most of them were more than one doctor practices. I'm not sure how many actual doctors that included. And after a certain amount of time of Walmart doing their initiation special, which it was buying your market share special, if you bought a frame, they would give you an exam and lenses, including no-line bifocals. Many of you that have no-line bifocals know those aren't cheap. So essentially, they were losing money on every patient or customer that came in and bought a frame. And they did that until there were only 3 practices, optometry practices left in Emporia, Kansas. At which time, the price of their stuff went up to normal, and in their opinion, everybody was happy. But the crux to the deal and the meat of the matter is that one point right there that Walmart really wants to change. Now, if you read what the initiative says, it's kind of it states certain things, but it doesn't state certain things, but it does say laws conflicting with this section are void. I mean, it's down there that, anyway, this measure adds a new section 3 to Article 20 of the Oklahoma Constitution. Under the new section, no law shall infringe on optometrists or opticians' ability to practice within a retail mercantile establishment, discriminate against optometrists or opticians based on the location of their practice, or require external entrances for optometric offices within mercantile establishments. No law shall infringe on mercantile establishments' ability to sell optical goods and services. No law shall infringe on mercantile establishments' ability to sell optical goods and services. In other words, it's gonna make it fair game for anybody and everybody to sell optical goods and services. Licensed or unlicensed, trained or untrained. Section allows the legislature to restrict optometrists from performing surgeries within mercantile establishments, which we are licensed in Oklahoma to do certain surgical procedures, but that also includes the removal of foreign bodies, which I end up doing a lot. That's considered a surgical procedure. In Oklahoma, we were the first to have laser privileges to do laser procedures, and that was partly because of how progressive our laws have been as far as our scope of practice in Oklahoma, and the restrictions on our continuing education and training. That goes along with more things you can do, the more they require you to prove you can do it, sort of thing. It's like I got certified to do YAG capsulotomies, which is a procedure that's done less frequently now than it used to be, but fairly frequently after cataract surgeries within the first 3 to 5 years for a lot of people, especially if the surgeon's not real good. But since we've had Dr. Hummel coming here, I don't have to refer that many out, so I couldn't even do enough of them to pay for the laser. But it's been long enough that I would have to go back and be recertified if I was going to buy a laser and start doing those again for some reason. But for me, it's one more thing I can refer to the surgeon that comes up here to keep him coming up here. Okay, performing surgeries within mercantile establishment. Limit the number of locations at which an optometrist may practice, which right now it's limited. You can't practice in more than 2 locations. To maintain optometric licensing requirements and require optometric offices be in a separate room of a retail mercantile establishment and impose health and safety standards. It does not prohibit optometrists and opticians from agreeing with a mercantile establishment to limit their practice. In other words, if you want to sign up and agree that you are going to do refractions only so that you can see somebody every 5 to 10 minutes and put out 6 to 12 scripts every hour to go to the optical next to you. And if they want to require you to do that, then they can tell you to do that, and you can bypass all the health standards of the exam that is supposed to be done. And then it says laws conflicting with this section are void.